the biggest like hopium. I won't believe it until I see its thought is we get the Avengers assembling moment of some kind where previous cast members are involved heavily with this game. Either they start showing up in the mid game, they're there from the get go. There's like a previous social link that ends up being a party member. Like it could be any of those things. We could get the resounding everyone from 1 through 5 shows up in some way, shape, or form, and they defeat some sort of absolute ultimate evil or some kind. And it's just absolute like Avengers Endgame peak cinema situation. That's
interesting. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, what's good? Sandy Brew coming at you, and today we have a very fun podcast for you. We've got DMPeyer in the house today. We're going to be talking about, some Persona stuff, addressing the big fat green elephant in the room while he's just sitting in it's huge. He's in the corner. He's kind of like this. He's just teasing us. He's just teasing us in the corner. But very excited for this episode. Dylan, how are you? And tell us, one, how you're doing, but also who you are and, what's going on, man? Like, how are we feeling?
I'm doing pretty good. Honestly, the 30th anniversary has been pretty good so far. Like, I don't have any real complaints yet, but they've been feeding us and they've been covering everything a little bit better this year from 1 and up. So I've been very pleasantly surprised at the inclusion of everything so far.
Yeah, and so I know you're a huge Persona fan, so that's why I wanted to. And we've been friends for who knows how many years now. So I knew I wanted to get you on eventually to talk Persona, and I feel like now is the time to do it. So without further ado, let's talk about what's brewing. So before we address, again, the big green elephant in the room, we're going to let him sit in his corner for a little bit. I want to pick your brain on Persona 4 Revival. So we have a Persona 4 remake coming out. I have hear a lot of people saying, Golden is stands up on its own. I don't know if Persona 4 really needed a remake. I figured it makes sense that they're going to do it because, they remade Persona 3, so it just makes sense to do this, But I want to get your thoughts on Persona 4 Revival. I've played Persona 5 Royal and just recently finished Persona 3 Reload. I've not played anything Persona 4. I don't know anything about it. So I want to pick your brain on it. How are we feeling about this remake of Persona 4?
Honestly, I'm 100% for it, and I've been 100% for these remakes since the get-go. Not just from a quality of life standpoint, but in a accessibility standpoint. Before we got 5 Royal, 3 Portable, and 4 Golden on everything, you had to emulate Persona 3. You didn't have a choice. You didn't have Portable on everything. You didn't have 3 or 3 FES on anything other than the PS2 and the PS3 digital store. Getting it on everything was the first step. Doing a remake is just, hey, we know people probably started playing the game because of 5. I mean, case in point, like, Joker got into Smash. Everyone realized it existed if they didn't know already. And it opened the door for it to be more of a global situation rather than a... some people over the U.S. might know these games exist. Some people that bought a Vita might have bought it thinking, oh, what's that? That looks kind of cool. And just getting it into more people's hands, people are being incredibly loud about that somehow not being a good thing.
Right.
And it's always bothered me. Access to things shouldn't be limited by, I was there 20 years ago and I played it first and I feel like emulating it. It should be, hey, game good, art good, music good, access good, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, Golden specifically, I think, is significantly better off than 3FES and even like Portable are in terms of like being more caught up. It's where a lot of the quality of life things came into play. That kind of led towards the next step with 5 and its quality of life inclusions on there. The issue is it's still not up to current audiences, like modern standards. When it comes to like, can I do things like save in the middle of a situation that I might have to leave from, especially with it being on like a Switch or a Switch 2 on portable systems. That's something that got added with the update for Golden after the PC release with the quick save, the quick suspend, but it wasn't something that was always there. People got to like a lot of these things are either mods, quality of life updates that came after the fact, or re-releases.
So okay, you're talking about like the saves, right? So because like I don't know. So like with the whenever you're saying like they added like quick saves and stuff. So previously, could you not save like really? You can only save in like specific spots. Like, because I know like a lot of
spots.
I know like a lot of older games are like that. So like I'm just like, how bad was it?
Right? That's just like one example. So
yeah.
For Golden originally, and like I platinumed it on the PS Vita.
Yeah,
I played it, guys. I played it thoroughly. I have it right there. I have the proof if necessary. But on the original Golden release on the Vita, you had these little blue butterflies, just like we see in all the other Persona things. Those were your save points. There was one like in the middle of the street in the main shopping district. There's one in your classroom. There's the calendar at the place that you stay that you can save from, and there's a butterfly in the main dungeon hub. That's basically it.
Yeah.
4 spots. Unless I'm forgetting one for some reason, but those are like the main ones. And like, even if you're in a different part of the shopping district, you have to go all the way back over
to
that
chore.
butterfly save.
Yeah.
So you gotta do that every time you want to save. Where just adding the quick suspend that they added made it so, oh, I'm in the middle of a dungeon, or oh, I'm in the middle of this place I can walk around, but there's not a save point. I still want to save. I gotta go. I gotta shut the game off. I gotta shut the system off. You can at least now quick suspend. Like it's not a huge difference. It's not anywhere in the overworld without having to walk up to a specific terminal type situation. But it's still better. That's still a quality of life improvement.
Yeah, you shouldn't be like punished for like, being in the middle of a dungeon and it's like, oh, like I gotta go to work, oh, I can't save it. I'm just gonna leave my console or PC or whatever on. Like, like you shouldn't be punished for stuff like that. And I know like a lot of older games, are like that. So I'm glad that we have more of those quality of life features, but yeah, no, I'm with you.
It's the walking uphill back to and from school argument and how it was tougher back in the day. Cool, it was tougher. It doesn't have to be anymore. Why would we want things to be harder?
Right, exactly. Okay. Yeah, and so you said you are supportive of Persona 4 getting a remake.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: what are you looking forward to the most with Persona 4 Revival? Because obviously, like, it's gonna look different. It's gonna maybe be a little bit different. And kind of how like 3 Reload was different from like Portable and FES and things like that. So like, what are you looking forward to the most with P4 Revival?
Yeah, obviously Golden and Base 4 are iconic. Like it's a lot of people's favorite games for good reason. The story is phenomenal. The story itself, the core parts of the story shouldn't be touched. They should only be brushed up, dust off, brought into modern times. There's certain things that people will like talk about as being like problematic or didn't age well and things of that nature, and I agree with that 100%. There's some things that are in the base versions of the game, both base and Golden, that it's like that just doesn't sit right. That's because we, like, as society, we have evolved in terms of what is like.
You're talking about like
acceptable
story stuff, and like, because I wanted to pick your brain on like the idea, because I know they were talking about like censoring certain things in the remake. So yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure we were tracking.
As someone that was in high school around 2009 when this was like in development and stuff, when 3 and 4 were actively being put out as brand new releases, yes, the humor matches the time. It's not 2009 anymore. So That being said, the other side of the argument is, oh, well, they shouldn't change it. Golden is accessible on every single modern platform, either through base play or through backwards compatibility. You can play it on the Switch too because it's on Switch. You can play it on PS5 and Series X and S because it's backwards compatible. It's on PC. You can play it on there. It's on everything modern and currently available. It isn't going to just disappear into the void. Unless the stores get shut down or you don't have a physical copy. That's a whole other thing. You don't need to get any
right. Sure.
It's on everything.
Yes.
Golden is actively accessible on everything. You do not have to play Remake if you don't want to. If it doesn't appeal to you and you prefer the original / Golden experience, you can still play it. It's still there. People can still go and try it. People can go and spend it's only $20 or something like that, and be like, I'm going to see what the original was like and see why people like this and that about that over the new version or whatever. It's all still there. Like it's not just disappearing into the void. It's still there. It's the same thing with Portable. And Portable, as much as people don't like how things went with the DLC for Reload or whatever, Portable is technically not a complete experience either. Because it doesn't have the episode I guess the Answer DLC extra content after the story experience.
When was episode I guess like implemented in Persona 3?
Original base 3 came out, I want to say 2008, 2009 in Japan. The exact date isn't in my brain. What are you?
I noticed your TV in the back. I was like, I don't want to get like I saw like a shirtless dude back there. I'm like, I do not want to get this like. No,
maybe
you're good.
It's time to get YouTube Premium finally. But like base 3 came out late 2000s. Persona 3 FES was the same as Persona 5 Royale. It was a re-release with additional content. With that also added on after the fact. Because they did add stuff during the main story like they did with 5 and 5 Royale. With specific characters being included in the actual core story. And not just, hey, here's extra stuff after everything's done. A la third semester. It was integrated. That's why they did a re-release.
Yeah.
With Reload, they didn't need to integrate any new things. They just wanted to add the extra story after the fact. They literally went, what do you mean we sold 1 million copies in the first week? Okay, we have the money back.
Sure.
Let's get to work. Here the voice actors back in the booth. Let's go.
Yeah.
Got it done.
Yeah. So we were talking about, because, I was reading some stuff about like how they are probably going to censor certain things, right, in Revival. You're saying that, yeah, okay, like that's totally fine because the original is still intact. If you want to play the original, go play the original. And I completely agree. Like, I feel the same way about like the FF7 remakes versus the original. Like people would just dog on, like not liking the remakes, which is fine. But like, it's like the original game is still there. Like you literally could just go play. You could just pretend the remake trilogy doesn't exist and everything will be fine. I'm kind of like on the end of like, so like for me it's like with like remakes it's like I'm on one end I'm like I'm glad that they changed certain things within this is with any remakes in general because I don't want to just play the same game again. I want to like actually like experience it in a fresh way. On another end it kind of like for me, and I don't know the context of like what they might be like censoring in Persona 4, so maybe you can, because I remember they were talking about something with Kanji. Is that one of the characters' names? I haven't played P4 yet.
No.
So I'm just going off of what I remember reading. Like something with like his...
Kanji is P3, the social link. Kanji is P4.
Kanji, yes. Kanji, yeah. Because I remember reading they were going to kind of like adjust like, his story a little bit because, like it's 2026, times are different and things like that. I know for me it's like... I see why they would do that. I know, like, and again, like, maybe this is just my perspective on it, but, like, overall, I'm typically not a huge fan of companies, like, censoring things. But at the same time, like, I get it. Like, if you want to play the original, you play the original, and things like that. So I wanted to kind of get just a little more of your thoughts on, like, that specifically. If you, like... you know what, we don't have to talk spoilers or anything, but like I'm sure you probably know what they're talking about.
Yep.
And
I know exactly what it is.
And now
I actually made a post about this a
Yeah.
while back when I saw it blowing up about people being upset that they're changing things.
And so do you think it's a good idea that they're going to be changing this aspect of it?
I got bad news for some people, and they're not going to like it. It's actually more accurate to his actual development arc and actual, like, the other pieces of Persona 4 media that have existed that have, like, the anime, for existence. The anime does, like, things where, like, we'll get a little bit of extra of, like, this character talking about this or that or whatever, and even just a line in the game, and that's the screenshot that I included with the post that I made. Them changing what they're changing with the boss design related to his story is actually more accurate to how he actually feels and how it actually plays out.
Oh, interesting. So this change
that is my opinion.
Is in your opinion for the better, right? And so is it just like the boss design that they were talking about, or is it like other stuff like
that was the glaring here's a screenshot showing what's different piece of evidence.
Yeah.
But if that's the direction they're going to make things more crystal clear on what the intention is behind the storytelling and leaving less room for arguments.
Sure.
Because the meme is always going around of like, oh no, we're going to get another 20 years of these characters being argued about in the community. If they're doing things to essentially set in stone, hey, this is how this person actually is and what their story involves and how they've grown from being unsure about themselves, which is the entire point of the game, is facing themselves and figuring things out and accepting themselves for who they are. If that's the case, this is the better version of the story, essentially, when it comes to that character specifically. I'm really interested to see the other hot topic character from this game specifically, that has similar things that are either misconstrued, misspoken, or misunderstood. And I'm curious to see what direction they go with that specifically. Because again, it's modern times are significantly better for people that fall into the same kind of category that could feel represented by these characters, which is a good thing. Obviously, representation is a good thing for everybody. I'm just curious what steps they're going to take for like solidifying the intention between with the original story and development of that character specifically.
Yeah, and I guess like to your point, you know, if it's to clarify like a certain like a character's development or like, you know, just to like clarify like, hey, here's like actually what this character's dealing with and here's how they resolve it. Like I'm totally cool with like changes like that. I would be like, here's like what I'll give you an example of like Persona 5 Royal or Persona 5 in general of like what I wouldn't be like okay with, and I'll give my reasoning is like, you know, what I wouldn't be okay with is if like they took like, for example, like Kamoshida out completely and like because yes, it's supposed to be uncomfortable, right? And but there's a reason why, because like the first villain in Persona 5 that you fight is literally a pedophile, so it's like and it's like
it's very loud, very clear.
Yes, and it's like, and it should like if they ever remake Persona 5 in like 15 or 20 years or whatever from now, like they shouldn't. I don't think they should censor things like that because the whole point is like, yeah, you're supposed to like feel uncomfortable facing this because this is actually like a real life scenario that like, you know, that goes on. Now, if it's to clarify, like, again, like in how we're talking now, if we're to clarify, like, how, like, a certain character is supposed to be or supposed to grow or whatever, I'm okay with it. You know, I'm okay with it. So,
and again, these are mature rated games.
Right.
They should be facing hard topics, dealing with things that kids that are 6 or under or whatever shouldn't have to face or deal with right away.
Yes.
But it's also the reality that, again, these are all teenagers dealing with real life, hyper fictional situations, like hyper focused, hyper over the top situations, obviously exploded by the fictional things and the additional powers and things that are involved with the supernatural and everything.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that the real stuff shouldn't actually reflect the things that they're the game developers are trying to like say, hey,
Sure.
this is a reflection of this part of reality in current society. It needs to actually reflect that in a way that makes sense for the current times that we're in. And that's my whole like thought process between anything remake related for 3, for 4, and I wouldn't be shocked if they did a 5 remake in like 10 years, but also like I don't think they're really
why you should
yet, obviously.
You don't need to. You literally don't need to. But I bet people were saying that about Persona 4 Golden, and here we are.
Yeah.
So and I think also like people forget that these characters are literally high schoolers. When playing these games, like people like will get like mad and like misinterpret characters. Like for example, like because I finished Persona 3 recently, but like Yukari was like one of my favorite characters, and so like I see so many people just like hate on Yukari because like, oh, she's like mean and like what the way she treats it. It's like, dude, she's literally like, imagine if you were in her shoes whenever you were in high school, how would you react? Right? Like she's reacting in ways that I expect
that mirrored Yukari almost to a T.
Yeah.
Almost the exact, obviously like not, again, the hyper-fictional stuff, almost the exact situation, exact parental situation.
Yeah.
Was the popular girl that was misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
That had another popular girl that she like both looked up to, but also like didn't like it, that like had feelings about at the same time.
Sure.
Wasn't the same exact type of situation, obviously, but like this is a realistic expression of how a teenage girl in this kind of situation would react. It's realistic, just again hyperblown by the fictional situations to like a normal high school girl doesn't have to deal with shadows or having some other persona or pointing a gun-related object to their head.
In order to fight.
Use the powers.
Yeah.
Like, again, come on, guys.
Crazy stuff. Yeah. Again, like people just because like, and I listen, you're allowed to have your own opinions. Like you're entitled to your own opinions, but like there has to be a point whenever you're like, sit and think like, do you just not like this character because like you're just soft? Like, I literally have said that a couple times.
Soft,
I'm like,
they remind you too much of yourself.
Yeah.
Or that you realize that the person that you, heavens forbid, you wanted to be with in high school was just like her, and now you're realizing, oh, I really didn't get them at all. No wonder they didn't like me.
That is a deep cut to somebody. Someone's not gonna
break it to some people.
Someone's not gonna like that one. I'll tell you right now. But hey, listen, this is everything. We're unedited on here. All right, we say everything. All right. So I love it. I'm here for it. Okay, so back on track with Persona 4 stuff. So we're talking about story changes and stuff. We're looking forward to the changes. So gameplay. So they're introducing like some new mechanics with like the status ailments, and I can't remember what they call it, and then just things like that. So how are we feeling about like gameplay, like updates? Whether it's quality of life stuff, whether it's combat. Like what are your thoughts on how P4 Revival is looking with that?
Yeah, basically my list goes, the status ailment, I think it's knockback or something like that, where you can literally knock a shadow into another shadow, pass the ailment
I think that's so cool.
More, everything like that. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so goofy. It's for me, that's so Persona 4. That's something that they would literally try to do. Literally one of the characters would be like, hey, that one's dizzy. Can I knock it into the other one? Yeah, let's try it. Let's go. And they would try it. They would try to hit it so hard, they would hit it into the other one like a bowling pin. Like that's what I like, thinking about it from that like perspective. That's so them. They would absolutely try to do something like that. And again, it's all based around TVs and like TV shows and pop culture at the time, and silly TV shows that are way over the top, superheroes, kung fu movies, all that stuff. So it makes sense that the silly characters doing stuff in a TV world would try to do silly TV world related things. It makes sense to me.
Sure. And then
so it clicks.
Persona 4, correct me if I'm wrong, but Persona 4 in general is more lighthearted than like some of the other ones. Or am I wrong on that?
A lot of the story beats, a lot of the group situations are significantly more lighthearted compared to like 3 and compared to even 5. Okay. not as heavy set as 3 is most of the time, with just general like hangouts and stuff. Obviously, there's some exceptions because there's story bits and when the heavy stuff hits,
Sure.
it hits. But 4 in general is noted as the golden child, the lighthearted, the sunshine and rainbows in comparison to the other ones for multiple reasons.
Yeah. Okay, so okay, we're talking about the knockback like mechanic, which I think is really cool. I think that makes, you know, this remake fresh as well. Just like another thing, just to make it like, oh, it's not the same game that I played before. I can't remember what else if they changed anything else in the gameplay. I mean, obviously it looks like super gorgeous, like the art looks amazing. It's
so clean,
and I feel like with just like the cut-ins and with like the all-out attacks, I feel like they just keep going more ham with every single remake, because like, you know, Persona 5 like had its own style, and Persona 3 with like the cut-ins especially, like it has like the whole portrait in the back and then like the whole thing, and then I feel like they just keep like going more and more like into it, you know, like, okay, what else can we do to make it more stylish? Yeah,
it's the same way that base 3 was the jump from PS1 to PS2, and base 3 was the core, like everything including like the assets. The OST for 3 is on the disc for 4. Like, they literally said, here's Persona 3, now let's make another game using everything we used in there but make it better, and made 4. And it's all just right there. Like, base 3, you couldn't control your own party members, you could only use tactics. 4, you had control over your party members. So again, just a difference using the same engine, saying, hey, we could have done this for 3, but we didn't. And honestly, we don't want to get too much into 3 anymore, but like, there's reasons why not being able to control the party members made sense with how things were. But like, it's the same way with this remake, going from 3 to 4. They're testing their new engine. They're seeing how crazy they can get, and they're just next level. And this is basically their, hey, happy 30th Persona anniversary. Here's our golden child in a brand new light and a brand new shiny package. Thanks for supporting us for 30 years.
Yeah.
Whether it was 30 years ago or now, thanks for being here. We're going to make this as cool as possible type situation. It's also the, like, Atlas likes to test things for all of their franchises in their other games too. Like, some of the overworld combat for Metaphor specifically, with how you can do things entering the field, there's a little bit of that with Persona 4 Golden, with the shadow guarding and being able to gain advantage.
Right, that was another new
specific
thing.
Mechanic.
Yeah,
that specifically had me going, oh, we're cooking now. Okay,
yeah, because
we don't have to worry about stabbing a shadow in the back every single time that we want to get advantage. It doesn't have to be that simple, but also that, like, we got to run around in circles to try and do this or avoid them.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what else was like a new thing they added, and I remember them highlighting it was like a guard or like a parry or something. And I haven't played Metaphor yet, but I know like in Metaphor, like you can like do like certain things in the overworld, like outside of just hitting the shadow and getting like an advantage that way. Like you could do like certain things, like give you like more of an advantage and things like that. So
I'm kind of glad they didn't full Metaphor it, where Metaphor specifically, if you're high enough level, you can just insta-kill things in the overworld.
Yeah, that's how the Persona 5 Royal... Well, Persona 5 Royal had a skill that you could get from Confidants that could allow you to do that, which is different.
Ryuji's level 7, I believe, is the insta-kill when you're in... Yeah.
And that's different, because that's like
Metaphor's
that's like
a little bit different, though.
Yeah.
Metaphor's is a little bit different, where it's just you're slashing to get into the encounter. If they're a low enough level, you can just keep slashing and they're killed.
Yeah.
You just get the XP and the drops or whatever from it, and then you're done. It's super nice for that specific type of game to be able to grind out stuff like that. I did it in the final push area, basically, to farm weapons and material and money and XP and everything
it's very convenient. Saves so much time,
it's super nice. And I won't be shocked if they make it something for 6, but I'm kind of glad they didn't do it for 4.
Sure.
I feel like what they've done with 4 with the guarding and being able to either just leave or get advantage off after a successful guard, I think that's more than enough.
Yeah, and like, you don't have to, like, you just, again, add like a couple of like new things and Persona 4 feels fresh again. Because like, I don't think the Theurgies in 3 were new to Reload. Right.
Yes.
So like
these are brand new.
It's stuff like that is super fun. Now, did Persona 4 OG or Golden have baton passing? No. So that okay.
There was no baton passing until 5. 5 is what brought it on.
Or
baton pass being added to 4 revival is a new thing.
Which makes sense because you had the shifts in 3 and baton passing in 5 was obviously like a hit. So it's like it would feel off to not have it in this. I don't know. I just because I haven't like researched this, but is it going to function like 5 where like you can stack like more damage buffs, or is it going to be like 3 where it's just
seen
a switch?
Anything for that? Yeah.
Okay.
As far as we've seen from official information that I've seen so far, there's no stat buff, HP or SP recovery or anything like that. It's just passing off your turn to somebody else.
Yeah.
As far as I've seen so far, and honestly, I love 5. With the baton pass, if you're set up right, it makes it too easy.
See, that's what I love about it, though.
Really, I love it. But it's also like
I get it, though. I get it.
It's too easy. I want it to be harder. It's like they're at least doing that.
Sure.
For not being like harder, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, see, what I like about that in 5 is like I like that it incentivizes you to like down enemies and figure out weaknesses and things like that. And if you can't, to go for crits and things, because you are rewarded with that damage buff with the baton pass if you can get it off. So I actually like that a lot about 5. I'm not going to, whether they do that with 4 revival, I don't care either way. It's the fact that you can even switch. I'm not
going to be heartbroken about it. Yeah,
right. Yeah. You brought up one last thing until we move on to the big fat green elephant in the room. You brought up the OSTs like very briefly, and I know this is I feel like this is always a topic of discourse whenever Persona stuff comes out. I know it was like this with Persona 3 Reload. They changed some of the OSTs. I got people like arguing. I got people like arguing like in my YouTube and TikTok comments like, oh, well, like, man, this is garbage compared to the original, or like, oh, no, like this one's actually fine. And I've already seen people, because I think there were some OSTs that were like put out there for revival, and I've already seen some people like, oh man, like this doesn't sound good and things like that. So like, where do you stand on like remaking like the soundtracks, and like, do you prefer them over the original? Do you prefer the originals? Do you think like they're not good? Do you think they're good but you still prefer the originals? Like, what is your stance on that?
You can see the guitar necks sitting right behind me. I am a professionally trained musician. I've been playing music since I was 3.5 years old. It is not just recording in the booth for the OSTs that matters to Atlas with the situation. And as someone that has been to the Persona concerts, now for the first one they did in the US, they did 3 shows back to back in like 2 days or something like that.
Crazy.
It is not just sitting in the booth to record the songs one time and being done with it. They have been doing live shows for years. These singers also have to be able to go out for these shows, perform these songs live, rapidly, repeatedly over multiple days for a tour. It's not just go record songs in booth for video game, be done until the next one comes out, or the next version comes out, or the DLC comes out, or whatever it's going to be. So from that specific aspect, not only am I 100% for doing new soundtracks with new people, it's the same thing as the game itself being available on there. If you like the older versions, they're going to release the older versions of the tracks at some point, so you can at least have some of it in the new game. But again, it's a remake. If you don't want to do remake things, turn the music off in your game and pull up Spotify.
Yeah. Well, also, because aren't they going to have like the original songs in the game? Because didn't like Persona 3 do that too, where they had like the original songs? Like
they had DLC songs for 4 and 5 that you could get for the game to have in there, and then they released. There was like a free update. Again, free. They didn't make you pay for it.
Yeah,
a free update. But they added songs from the original games with the original singer.
That's what I was thinking
that
of.
In there for dungeons, for fights and stuff like that. That you could just toggle on in your settings and have at any point and be like, cool, I want to listen to the original version of Changing Seasons or when Moon's Reaching Out Stars, and whatever song specifically that they added. I don't remember the exact full list, but if you want it, they're gonna do it eventually because they know people can't get over themselves.
Yeah, and I mean personally, I with playing Persona 3 Reload, I love the soundtrack, and I didn't even really listen to the originals until I started getting deep into Persona 3. And I'm I just kind of want to see what it sounds like, but I like the remade music, it's and some of it doesn't even sound that different either, which is also what's it's so annoying about some of the discourse. It's it doesn't I get it, you're partial to and that's fine if you're partial to the original, but I don't know, I don't think it sounds bad. It only sounds, some of them sound drastically different, I'm just talking about Persona 3, but I it's not I don't know, some of them it's I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you, as somebody who's not a seasoned Persona guy, I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference between the remake version and the OG version if I've never heard them before.
Changes are not always just bad automatically. And that's the biggest issue that I have with all of this Discord is if it's different, it's automatically bad or worse. And that's not the case. Again, it's the entire picture. It's recording for that. It's if they do any sort of additional anime production like they did for 3's movies, like they did for 4's the anime series itself, like they did for 5's anime. It's going on the tours. It's doing all these shows. It's doing anything in the future for spin-off games. It's the entire package. The singers have to be good to do all of those things. Otherwise, why are they throwing them in the booth for one thing and then need to get somebody else after that?
Sure.
Why wouldn't they just hire one person that can do it all and is ready to do it all?
Yeah.
As much as, again, previous talents are... So some of them are still out there, still doing stuff. Like Lynn from Persona 5, they've been working her to the bone, and she still killed it at the concert, and that was the last concert of the weekend that I went to. And I'm just it clicked that in the brain for me, this is why they got new vocalists for the new stuff, because I know the one for 3 had some sort of health thing happen or something like that. Or I don't remember the exact reason. I remember there being something she's not as up to par as she used to be situation or something like that. Again, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I remember reading that shortly before the remake got announced and going, oh, that's why they recast. Isn't 100%.
Sure.
And they don't want to, you don't want to end somebody's career to get them in the booth and then they can't go on tour, and then you got to replace them anyway.
Sure. Yeah. That's a good point. And I didn't know that either. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's shift gears now. Unless you have any more to say about P4, I want to shift gears to now the green elephant.
It's the same. I want to say it is the same thing with the voice actors. It is the same situation with the voice actors.
I know that's another topic of conversation.
The original cast for these games, minus a couple from there's some with 3 that already we don't need to get into, but the Persona 4's voice acting, specifically Golden, even based to Golden, they had voice actors changes. Let's be serious here, but I understand why people wanted certain people to return. Some of the voice acting in Persona 4 is some of the best that I have ever experienced. And this is a game that's over a decade old now. It still holds it's up here.
Which is saying a lot, because I know voice acting for older games tends to be kind of cheesy sometimes, just with older games. So that is saying a lot. Yeah.
What my prime example, Xena Robinson, that's my boy. He played original P3 or FES. I forget which one. I know he played one of them on the PS2 back in the day.
He's Junpei, right?
He's Junpei.
Yes. Yeah.
That man put Junpei at the top of my list even further, simply by performing it the way he did.
Yeah.
And that's all I need to say.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
So give these new guys a chance. They love the games just as much as we do. They know how important these games are to us. Just give them a chance and go with it with an open mind, because even Paul Castro Jr., literally said when he found out that he was playing Yusuke, like when he found out who he was playing, he was like, "Nope, I don't want to do it. That's his role. I don't want to do it." Still came back to do it because he was encouraged to. Like,
yeah,
they understand how important this stuff is to us. Give them the chance they deserve to do it justice.
I could not have said it better myself. So let's talk about the great elephant. Okay. Now he's awake. Now we're going to talk about him. Persona 6. Wow. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not expect even a tease until Persona 4 was going to be out. I'm going to be honest, and I was wrong, and I'm so glad I was wrong. Yeah. So Persona 6 was teased. We got a little teaser, nothing crazy, just like some atmospheric stuff. Yeah,
crazy was
right.
Me.
So So how are you feeling? How are we feeling about Persona 6 now that we know it's? We knew it was we knew it was happening, right? Everybody knew it was happening. But now that we have something tangible out there, even though it's just a tease, there's no gameplay or anything, how are we feeling?
It's been running through my mind almost every single day. I gotta be so honest. Like, all the things that I think about that they could do with it, all the things that I hope they will do with it, it hasn't been keeping me up at night. Like, I've been sleeping good because of it, if anything. But it's been trying to draw the same speculations. Have you ever watched the Persona 5 reveal trailer of the similar like energy and vein that they did?
I never did. Never, because I played 5 late.
Very like a super brief like, okay, this is what it's like setting itself up to be. It was a series of chairs with ball and chains attached to them, like prisoner ball and chains attached to them, and I believe the phrase that they used was, "Do you seek liberation?" or something of that like vein, basically. Do you want to be emancipated? Similar to like, do you want to break these chains?
Yeah.
I just need you and anyone that's played 5 to remember what are the most significant moments in the game that involve chains breaking.
Okay. Yeah.
So my thought is there's several things that could happen with this.
Sure.
The biggest like hopium. I won't believe it until I see its thought is we get the Avengers assembling moment of some kind where previous cast members are involved heavily with this game. Either they start showing up in the mid game, they're there from the get-go, there's like a previous social link that ends up being a party member. Like it could be any of those things. We could get the resounding everyone from 1 through 5 shows up in some way, shape, or form, and they defeat some sort of absolute ultimate evil or some kind. And it's just absolute like Avengers Endgame peak cinema situation. That's
interesting.
I'm not 100% locked on that still being the situation, obviously, because I'm just being realistic. Like, but at the same time, they're remaking some of their games with new voice actors, with new people under contract. They're doing these things.
They are priming you for this game.
Chance
it's not a 0%.
They could be bringing everybody into it forward.
It's not a 0% chance. Yeah.
The fact that they're giving Persona 1 and 2 as much love as they have this compared to the 5 years ago 25th anniversary. The fact that they're giving much more attention, including it in like surveys for things that are coming up, just like they did with 3 Reload, just like they did with 4 Revival. Non-zero chance that we get some sort of collusion of previous casts all as a whole in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, they're priming you. They've been priming you since even before Persona 3 Reload.
Since Xbox got everything on Game Pass and helped fund the ports for everything, basically, and like encourage them to do it. I feel like they might have been setting us up since then. And that's why, like, my honest thought is like, let's bring all these things in. We could get the FemC from Persona 3 involved with it. We could get anything at this point, because again, they're involving and bringing all of these things to our forefront and attention, that there is a non-zero chance that we get exactly what we're like thinking about here. And again, I don't want to boost up anybody's hopes like unfounded, but again, look at all the breadcrumbs we're getting, guys. We're getting a lot of breadcrumbs. My other hope is if they do something similar to that, and this will specifically be for my Persona 4 Arena and Arena Ultimax players, if they're listening. There's playable characters in there from both 3 and 4. It takes place about 2 years after 3, basically, after the conclusion of the DLC for 3. Very much worth at least watching the cutscenes for, and I'm actually going to be making a playlist at some point here for another friend, so they can watch it after they're done with their playthrough of 4. And obviously I can share it when the time comes if people don't want to play the fighting games, which is totally valid. For the reasons we were talking about before pod. I have the slightest bit of hope that they do something related to that, to the ending of 3. And that is what I will say to keep it as vague as possible.
Okay, so I want to play off of this like theory a little bit, because another thing that I'm so glad you brought that up, and I didn't even think about like the whole like Avengers assembling like scenario that we could get, but what I wanted to bring up to play off of that a little bit, there was this rumor kind of recently that something with the Persona 6 story, it's going to revolve around reincarnation. And so, like, I've seen people theorizing, whoa, it would be crazy if, like, one of, like, the Persona, like Makoto Minato Tomato from Persona 3 is reincarnated, like, into, like, the main character or something like that. But now you're talking about all these other characters showing up, and now there's this rumor about reincarnation being a part of the story. What's your take on all of that, if that is true? Because I think it's just a rumor right now.
Going back off of that same vein, talking about the Persona 5 reveal trailer, about how breaking the chains was the entire point of the story, basically, and obviously the big moments that I mentioned briefly. If we take the same thought process and the same vein of thinking with what they've shown us so far, which for a lot of people isn't a lot, there's definitely going to be supernatural life and death related things involved with this.
It's going to be very dark. It seems like
it's going to be dark in comparison. Like, we got a lot more like visual representation of like the vibe for this game.
Sure, it's true, dude. If I didn't know it was Persona, I would have thought it was like a horror game.
I fully thought it was SMT or Trauma Center. I straight up said it in my reaction. Like, is this an SMT game? Is this Trauma Center? Like, what is going on? This is so like. And then the immediate like, oh my gosh, we're really gonna get dark here. It's so interesting to see how much further they're willing to go with the depths of the importance to life and death related things in this game. And like, obviously, like with 3, there was a lot of that. The entire theming of it is the importance of both of those things. I think this is going to be more focused on what we do as the living when we have to deal with the dead, and how we could potentially cross that boundary between the two would be my thought process. And that's why my thought with the rest of it is like, it's possible that they go to this length. And it's also possible they completely disconnected. It's only like references and things to stuff of like the rest of everything else.
Yeah,
I'm so curious what the main like mythology, theology, religious related like backing themes of things are. Obviously there's a lot of Greek mythology in Persona 3, but there's also some Christianity related to the ultimate like ending and things of that nature with the base game. And even the protagonist's best persona, or the ultimate persona. And even some other situations involving things of that nature. It's the same way with 5, with the main antagonist of the base game and the main trump card to that, and just other things in between, where everything else is modern, like mythical tricksters and outlaws and things of that nature being the ones to stand up to the actual bad thing inside.
Right.
The bad guy might not always be that bad. There might actually be someone worse they're trying to stop. And that very much came through very, very loudly with a lot of the things because of what evolved by the end of it all. It's had my head spinning and thinking constantly. And I swear, if something else that I've done for my my tabletop campaign gets reflected, it hasn't happened more. It's happened more than once, and I'm so scared that Alice is going to think I have a wire in the wall or something. At this point.
They need to hire you, if you ask me. Like, Atlas, if you're watching, you got to hire this guy. This guy's a genius when it comes to tabletop RPG writing. When it comes to campaigns,
literally, is the opening for Persona 5 Tactica was almost a direct mirror to how my party's game started.
That's so crazy.
The awakening from Metaphor was almost identical to our party's awakenings to their personas. And I'm just like, you guys gotta stop. This is working too well. But at least I know I'm in the right vein of thinking, and that's why I want to explore what I can pick up from these little bits here, and think if I was the one writing things down for how things were going to go. That's the mentality I get into when I think about this stuff, when we see little bits and pieces.
Well, yeah, that's also why I wanted to talk to you about this, because I know that you I know that you are probably, I'm not saying you're in the writers' heads or anything, but you have whenever you know a franchise for so long, and whenever you know a development team for so long, you can kind of pick up what they're putting down before they reveal it, whether it's story bits or beats or whatever. So I want to ask you now, so with this teaser, are there any things that you can that we can pick out from this teaser that also might be a hint of something that they might do with the story or even the gameplay? Is there anything that you analyze that you could pick out that it's this could be something? Because we didn't get much.
The little bullet points that I'm going to reference if and when we get, well, not if, when we get more trailer, be it characters, story, gameplay, anything else, the bullet points that I've got are the single person walking up to the main statue and grave in the graveyard.
It seemed like a giant gravestone. That's what it seemed like. Am I correct in thinking that, or I don't know, because we're in a graveyard.
I have the potential thought of could the graveyard be the home of the Velvet Room? Could that be the vibe of the Velvet Room?
Cool.
Could it be something similar to that for the entrance going in?
Yeah, because the in 5 it was you're in jail. Right, and then the whole teaser, like you were saying, with the breaking the chains. So that's interesting. Yeah.
The Velvet Room in all of the games reflects the state of the person occupying its heart. The guest in the room, it basically metamorphosizes itself to fit the needs and the state and condition of the guest's mental well-being in their heart. So Joker, obviously being stuck in the situation he was imprisoned.
Sure.
He was stuck. He was locked in. He couldn't do anything else.
Also because of the very beginning of the game with the casino stuff, which I never thought about
all the way through.
I never even thought about that. Yeah.
Yep. All of it until the very end of base game is it's all of it. 3 is obviously a little bit different to make quite as simple, but the way I've thought about it is it's an elevator, and Liz is an elevator attendant because he is trying to rebuild himself from his bottom floor, his lowest point, to reach his maximum potential.
Oh, I never thought about it like that.
That's when he gets to the top of the movies specifically.
Which makes sense, though, because of Tartarus. You are ascending to the top.
Yep, it's a mirror. It's basically just a mirror.
And I think
the entire situation with the joining.
And I'm still early on in episode Aegis, but I do think it's interesting that you're descending, right? And you're following this figure that's obviously, it looks like the protagonist. I don't know if I haven't finished yet, so I don't know if it's actually going to be him or not or whatever, but I think it's interesting that now you're probably descending to the lowest point of the abyss. Right. So, yeah, that's interesting.
It's very it's there if you look for it kind of situation.
Yes.
Now, obviously, the protagonist in 4, Igor pulls up in a limousine.
That's awesome.
We can all make the joke of like he's spoiling his next guest because of what happened to the last.
Oh,
ouch!
That's funny. It's sad. That hurts, but that's actually kind of funny. That's actually kind of funny.
It's the state of how a lot of people, especially again, the anime for 4 is heralded as like the absolute best adaptation for good reason. The way that people view the protagonist, you in the anime and in the game in general, depending on your choices, obviously they could be. There's a whole back and forth with all that, where the limousine makes sense because he's seen as this highly valued, important person that has nothing to hide. So when he rolls up, you know it's him. But it could also be a little isolating if you're in a limousine with basically just yourself and your driver all the time.
That's a great point.
So there's more to it, obviously, that will make more sense for people that haven't played 4 once they played 4. But that's my thought with it there.
I am people. Yes.
I am so interested to see how it's going to be for 6 and whether or not it's going to be
the graveyard
or anything related. If the fusing is going to be like 5 where they were doing the executions, if it's going to be something like the attendant digging up a grave to put the other boxes
I was just thinking about like literally digging up graves.
And then the persona pops up. Like, could that be the case? If an accident happens, do the headstones crack?
Oh, right,
suddenly you get a different result or something like that. Like
that's kind of cool.
It's been all of it. It's been all of it. There's like, is that going to be the case, or is it going to be something completely different because the protagonist, whoever we play as, is their heart and mental state? Are those different from the gravestone situation, or is there something underlying with that where they're potentially, again, reincarnating, bringing something back to life from the depths of their soul rather than just, I got 2 Legos.
Right.
Lego piece.
I'm going to take the arm from this skeleton in this grave and the torso from this one, and I'm going to make the one-armed floating torso persona. Right. It's going to be so much more than that. Right. That's it. I think you're spot on because, like, again, I haven't really thought too deeply about it, like, since the tease, because it's like, again, I'm not like Omega Persona head or anything. I'm just playing these games recently for the first time. So, but I think you're spot on with the Velvet Room being the graveyard. I think that makes sense. I think like what you were saying with, like, you know, even the fusions and things like that. Obviously, so like every Velvet Room has some kind of attendant. So what do we think that, like, are we gonna have like a male attendant this time? Because from my experience, they've all been female attendants, right?
Typically, the attendant is always the opposite gender of the protagonist.
So like the FemC in Persona 3 had a male. Got it. I did not know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's interesting. So is there anything else that we can pull from the teaser? Because, like, I know in the second half, there's, like, all this, like, stuff flashing. And, like, it feels like you're, like, a horror film. So maybe that's just, like, maybe they're just teasing, like, certain, like, characters or things that are going to happen in the story. I don't know, but, like, what else? I don't know. Is there anything else that we can pull?
There's been a couple thoughts. One of the other thoughts that I had, too, related to the graveyard is that it's the entrance to the metaverse equivalent. Like how we had to go to Shibuya, how we have to go into the TV, and how we have to go to Tartarus. It's a non-zero possibility that the graveyard is the entrance to this other realm, this other dimension. And that's why it's reincarnation focused, because we're literally going into the world of the dead to deal with what we're dealing with. All the, like, newspaper clippings, like, detective-related things.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to go straight murder mystery a la Persona 4, basically. But I think there's a non-zero chance we have things like people being held for ransom, have people disappearing, and potentially
mysterious, some murder supernatural cases of people disappearing, like somebody died, and it's very odd. Very like
schools, hauntings, and things of that nature.
Yeah, or just like ghost huntery, right? Yeah, it's so interesting.
M-rated Scooby-Doo.
Yeah,
but without
that's
the masks.
Man, imagine imagine like the mascot, right? Who's the Persona 6? What's the Persona 6 mascot going to be? Because technically Persona 3, it's like Aegis, but like I always see like Koromaru kind of as like, you know, because he's a dog. And then I think Persona 4, you have Teddy. Is that his name? Ted?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, you have like the teddy bear. Persona 5, you have Morgana. Yep. What's the mascot going to be? Who's the mascot going to be?
We got a dog, a cat, and a bear.
Like, what is there? Are there any animals associated?
We have an owl. We have an owl in Persona 5X, the gacha game, which is basically the alternate dimension version of Persona 5. That's the quick of it.
I'm gonna look up something because I'm curious if there's animals associated with death, right, and things like that. You know,
there's a few.
Because I'm wondering if that could. Oh, crows and ravens. Yeah.
Crows, ravens, vultures. Those would be my thoughts.
Yeah.
And owls. Owls was already present in Persona 5X.
Right.
It wouldn't be the first time they've used a bird.
Yeah. Huh. Because I don't think they would do like owl again or anything like that.
Bats or snakes were the other ones I think I remember thinking about. Bats.
Oh yeah, bats. I'm looking at bats right now.
Or a reptile of some kind potentially.
Interesting.
Yeah, those birds and then those other three, like those other two.
Yeah, okay.
Were the thoughts that were like animal companion, or they're gonna be in my walls again, and they're gonna make it like a monkey or a gorilla.
It's something so.
I swear.
I feel like that would take me out of it. Yeah, but I mean, Persona games always have like silly stuff though, so it wouldn't be that crazy.
Oh yeah.
So, do you think that we could straight up just be going to the underworld?
I think there's a chance.
You know,
I think there's a chance that the metaverse is gonna be like,
because that's kind of cool. And then you descend, because I think like in Mementos you descended into Mementos, didn't you? Yeah. So it would be kind of cool if you like descend like through the underworld and yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because I want to talk about like
Andy, I gotta stop you for a second.
Oh yeah,
because if they do that, my original intention with the metaverse dungeon was the 7 circles of hell.
They could.
I have my notes from my original ideas.
And you know what? Okay, okay, hold on. So, because Persona 5, I think, the antagonists kind of resemble the 7 deadly sins. Did I say? I meant antagonists. I don't know what I said. The villains. They represent the 7 deadly sins. We could go a step further, you know, with like playing off of that, and like you said, it's like you're descending farther into hell. Like it's just Dante's Inferno, but it's Persona. That's an interesting concept.
And literally each story arc could be the circle that you're dealing with in the main dungeon being replicated for the person and what they're struggling with for your team. Like what loss they have that relates to that specific struggle or that meaning of that specific circle's suffering. Man,
that's so interesting. That's so interesting.
Dude, this is what I'm talking about.
Right.
It's literally the brain state that I was in. I was like, man, if they made a 6, what they could do? Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, if they descended through this dungeon and it was the 7 circles. Oh no! I'm gonna get in trouble.
Listen, we have Atlas. Like, hire this man, but please do not snipe this man. Okay, we need to keep him. Please. Yes, we must protect him. But seriously, hire this guy. So with Persona 5, because Persona 5 Royal, or maybe Pace, again, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, but Persona 5 overall is the highest selling Persona game of all time. So what I want to ask you is this: what does Persona 6 have to do differently to stand out and set itself apart from Persona 5 Royal? Whether it's, and not, we're not just talking story. Like, I would like even gameplay, social links, mini games, whatever it is. What do you think that Persona 6 has to do to set itself apart? And could Persona 6 surpass even the sales of Persona 5?
That last bit, absolutely. I think Persona 3 Reload and Metaphor sales within the first week. Metaphor sold 1 million copies on the first day.
That's awesome. Wow.
So
For
the
being
fact
like
that
a
we're
new
reaching those numbers
IP,
for them,
technically, yeah.
yeah, I think 6 is gonna be just fine, and I think it's gonna explode.
Yeah.
I honestly think that there's a reason they've been cooking it for this long. They know they had to exceed the expectations of 5 in Royale.
Of course.
They know that they're gonna have to cook for things to be matching or better than what 5 Royale put out at the end of the day. I believe Royale was the better seller of the two in total, mainly because of platform availability. But I honestly think, and I think there's a non-zero chance they're doing it, a college-age cast and older would help.
Would be different because we've, it's always been high school students. Yeah.
It would differentiate, and obviously there's the whole, oh, well, high schoolers have the most free time compared to college and working class and whatever.
Well,
that would be part of the appeal, is they're figuring out how to do and deal all this, while also having the constraints of actually having to go to a day job, of having college classes, of doing all these other things that adults have to deal with.
Sure.
And it would speak
to
the people that have been along for this ride over these 30 years.
Okay, so like now I'm starting to think of like what they could do different. I'm glad you brought that up because, in the previous Persona games are in high school. And so like high school, okay, like in Japan, it's like Monday to Saturday, right? So like, and then you're in school like in the morning and then you get off in the afternoon. Well, in college, sometimes you have night classes. Sometimes you have classes at different times. So like how cool would it be if you had to actually take different classes like in your daily life and then you had to juggle your free, so like in some weeks or in like one semester maybe you have the early mornings free and there's only social links that are available in the mornings, but you can only really access them whenever on days that you don't have classes in the afternoon or you don't have a night class. Like, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. Like, that's a way to like change it up. It would definitely, I think it would drive some people crazy with like managing like social links and things like that. But also that is the college student experience, right? Because you're learning how to manage your time a little bit more. So like, I think one, like you said, having college aged characters and like, would be, I think would be more interesting. And also if they're going this darker, more mature route, not that the other games weren't mature because they are, but like if they're going this darker theme, dealing with more death, reincarnation, all these things, right? I think having the cast be older, more mature as well would be very interesting. Yeah, not all of them.
I think
of
if
course,
it's a mix or the majority of them, like I think doing that, having like kind of like Ken in Persona 3, where there is someone younger involved and there's a protective mannerism towards them.
Of course.
That would be fine. But college age for the most part or older and maybe like a high schooler or two, I feel like that would be like the best, like we want it to be more mature with the cast themselves specifically, but not too mature. To the point where it's just a bunch of old people struggling to even like get out of bed.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think like
they got
too
the cracked knee.
Yeah, you could have I think too like you can even because we have Ken in Persona 3 who's elementary school and he's with like the high schoolers with like in the battles and stuff. I mean, you could absolutely do that with like you have most of your party be college age, but then you have one who's maybe like a junior or senior in high school and maybe that character is like your Makoto or Mitsuru who's like very smart and is actually taking college level courses, but he or she is, they are just younger. And so then that maybe plays into their story and how they interact with, the party and things like that.
They're the Justice Arcana. They lost someone when they were young. They only have one parent or none and yada yada.
They were forced to grow up quickly. Right. I love that idea. I love this idea of a college age cast for the most part. I love the idea of like, I don't know. I kind of really love the idea of having like not just do the same mundane like high school schedule, like having college classes at different times. I kind of love that
I wouldn't
idea.
be upset if it's still high school.
Sure.
But Atlas, college with different times. The other thing with that too, they could make exploring the metaverse equivalent either you have to go late at night and you suffer for it either before or after. Either you can't do anything at night, like in Persona 3, if you want to go to Tartarus, you have to go at night. You can't do anything with your night slot. They could also do it where you might have to sleep in the next day to recover.
Oh, right. So like all your morning like social links that maybe would be available because maybe you have classes in the evening or at night. Yeah, you actually can't access those because you're tired. I love that. And it would, because listen, I know how you
Persona 3 had a tired system. If you went to Tartarus and stayed for too long, you would be tired and could even get sick afterwards.
In the original,
I don't necessarily
right?
want them to bring back that.
Right.
But
something
make
similar.
It so whenever you go into the metaverse, the next slot or the slot previous, you can't do anything, or
because you need to rest. You are older. You're getting older. Yeah. And because I know how you Persona guys are. All right. You guys love hardcore challenges. Okay. Forget a challenge with the gameplay and the combat. No. Well, I want more. Let's have more of a challenge with managing our time and schedule, right? I want this to be one of the harder games where you can to max out social links, if that's the case when it comes, because if we're going the college route. One of the reasons
OG3 was so hard to do it.
Yeah,
which is what they were astounded that people did it without a guide.
Yeah, right.
So like, if they make things where like, I don't want to say necessarily you have to use a guide.
Sure.
Like a veteran like locks in and figures things out, but like a little bit harder.
Yeah.
A little bit harder.
Right.
At the same time, Metaphor and even like Persona 3 Reload, significantly easier than some of the other games to get a full or mostly full run of all the links on your first playthrough.
Sure.
Metaphor, you have it's looking at it all and how locked in I was on like doing things the right ways. There was almost an egregious amount of free time by the time I got to the end game.
Right.
Like I was just stat padding at that point. Like it was almost insane. I platinumed it on my second run because there's a New Game Plus boss you have to beat. That's the only reason it took 2 playthroughs.
Yeah.
Because there was a New Game Plus boss.
Right.
So it's like maybe not that easy in comparison,
Sure.
but like make it a little bit trickier for us.
Yeah. Okay. So like social life, that's a way that you can do social life too. And like if now like some of these characters might be 21, right? Now that didn't stop any of the high schoolers from going to the bars in the previous Persona games, but maybe like maybe that could be something as well. One
of the characters in 5X is a bartender.
Okay.
Like they've already set at least a partial line for it.
Right.
Obviously we have Oya and oh my gosh, why am I spacing? Why is my brain not working right now? Lala-chan.
Yes, Lala-chan.
In 5.
Yes.
For that.
Well, dude, and you can even
social link. No.
Listen. I would have taken that over Ahoya, right? I didn't do Ahoya social link at all in Persona 5, but I would have absolutely maxed out Lola-chan. But here's what I'm thinking too, because like mini games, right? So it's like, dude, and listen, I don't drink, so like I don't do this, but like, dude, you could have. With an older cast, you could have a beer pong minigame. Like, you know what I mean? Like
instead of darts,
it's beer pong. Listen, I don't drink. I do Mountain Dew pong. Okay. I also do mac and cheese pong, where you get a cup of mac and cheese, and if you make it in, you got to scarf down the whole cup of mac and cheese, right? So like you can get creative with it, but. That's a mini game you could do with like an older cast or things like that. So how about the combat? How does the combat have to be different in this game? How does like certain gameplay things like have to be different? Because obviously like I feel like they were priming us with Persona 4 Revival, like maybe the knockback mechanic comes back in Persona 6 or something similar. Maybe the Theurgies come back. Maybe they do the show times again like Persona 5. Is there anything that they can do different in your opinion? Or do you think like they just take all of these things that were fun in the previous games and they just put them in one game? How does...
I think we're going to get a hybrid.
Okay.
Specifically for like the ultra moves, the show times, the Theurgies, the... group up attacks and things like that outside of all out attacks, obviously. I think we're going to get some sort of hybrid for those with 6, where it's going to be like there's going to be an individual super move. There's going to be a duo super move that you can do like a Showtime. There's going to be a full party super move. There's going to be a combination of certain characters, gives you different typings for the super moves. Similar to how there were certain things like that, both for Golden that would proc automatically, but also back in like I think it's 2 specifically, that had things that could trigger if you had certain party members in the group. And I haven't played either one or either of the 2s in a while, but like I feel like something like that, again, they're brushing the dust off of the 1 and 2s and saying, yes, we remember these exist. Here you guys go. Here's some merch. And at least getting that, I feel like there's a non-zero chance they're going to pull from everything and kind of do a little bit of everything with that. I think Shadow Negotiations from 5 that were originally 1 and 2 as well. I think we might get something even more like 5 level of quality with those, but 1 and 2's level of like not necessarily intricacy. There we go. There's the word. But like options for what you can do to like make it happen, if that makes sense. Like you can't just give me your money and then there's like a little conversation you have to answer a piece of dialogue for. There's more to it where you're like, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a little dance and see if the shadow likes it. And the shadow hates it, insta-kills you, and then your teammates have to get you up. That's what I want. I want that level back.
I love that. I actually love that idea. I'm like, oh, let dance off, bro. And then you do the dance off, and it's like, dude, your moves suck. Insta kill, game over. Back to the graveyard, right? I think like
there is something. Speaking of insta kills, game over. Give us the same thing Metaphor has, where the protagonist falls, the game's not over. And I think they're partially doing that with 4 Revival. With one of the passive skills that the Navigator will be able to do. She's able to do it if you max out in Golden specifically. Always level up your Navigator's social links for their passives.
I will keep that in mind.
Do it.
I will keep that in mind.
Both 4 and 5 do it. It's going to be required in 6. They're getting maxed out as soon as possible.
Yeah. And I like that idea that like, because I do like the challenge of like, okay, if the protagonist goes down or the leader goes down, it's a game over. But I like the incentive that, you know, you have, or you could have to like, you max out a social link like the Navigator. And it's like, okay, at 10, if the protagonist dies, it's not a game over. And that's a skill that you get. I like that incentive there.
The other thought I have with it too, and this is leaning into some of the rumors for it, where there's going to be 2 protagonist options for 6. Not only do I want there to be 2 protagonist options for 6, I want the other choice to be a party member.
Yeah.
And for them to be able to be your secondary backup plan. Make it like they're co-leader. So like they're also potentially even make them a wild card to like crazy things like this.
That's a cool idea.
Where, like, they're like directly spiritually linked, so like they can go into the Velvet Room together. They can access the same compendium.
Okay, wait a minute.
Use your personas in the like.
Okay, wait a minute. Again, hold on. I don't want to cut you off. I have a thought. Okay, so like, what if they go that route, but the co-leader that's connected to you is like somebody in like the afterlife? Or it's like some kind of like, you have some kind of connection to where like that person's actually dead, right? But they can, you know, or
you don't find out until later in the game. And they're like,
it's like a, I don't want to spoil like FF10 or like Twooey or anything, but like something like that, right? Like I think that would be interesting. Okay, so we're talking about like a co-leader. That would definitely be a way to like make things different. Where
and they've done situations in spin-off games with Persona Q, Q2, and Persona 5 Tactica, where other party members can be essentially given personas for their skills, for their weaknesses and strengths, resistances, for their skills, and their the bonuses from having them equipped and stuff too. I think they could do it again that step further and have a secondary wildcard in the party, and have that be the second protagonist that you could pick. I think that's
a cool idea.
That's one of those. This would set it apart from all the other games. It's something be insane to a degree where it fully like sets it apart from all the rest of them in a way that's like not been done before.
Yeah, you can have like a femc, and you can like either choose like that's like your protagonist, and then maybe like the social links are just a little bit different, but you still experience the same story, but also have the other character like protagonist in your party. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think that's
Yeah.
I like
with
that
the social
idea a
links too, and
lot.
I thought about this too. If they did dual protagonists like that, with 3 portable, there's ones that are exclusive to FemC versus
Yes,
MC.
of course.
Specifically, the male party members from 3, which is why we got the linked episodes in Reload to give them. This is a social link, but it's not a full social link because it's a remake of Phase 3, not a combination of portable and 3. Taking that same like level is like you can meet all the same people, but the random guy in the back of your biology lab wouldn't be interested in the male protagonist, only the female protagonist.
Oh,
And have
right.
them be a romance option for them. Whereas so-and-so that works at the arcade next door to the bar that you frequent that comes in after work can be interested in both. And that would also add the inclusion of that aspect for current modern times, similar to what we were talking about with Persona 4 Remake earlier, where they want to make things more up to speed with current societal standards and expectations and representation without making it everyone can date everybody. That's not reality. That's
Sure.
There are some people that are only going to be interested in the opposite gender or the same gender, or I'm cool with both. That's another way that they can add to it while keeping it akin to a mirror of current reality.
How do you think like social stats are going to be in this game? Because
I think it's going to be another set of 5.
Okay.
I just hope it's
what
not
if it's 6?
Brain rot.
What if it's like 6 though? Because it's Persona
If they
6.
do 6 for 6, oh man.
Wait, you said okay. You said I hope it's not Gen Z brain rot. So like, what do you mean by that?
No Riz, no Aura.
Oh yeah, okay. Like instead of charm, it's Aura or Riz or something like that.
Please, just don't do that. Just don't do that, and I'll be okay with it. You can make it 10 social stats as long as none of those are that. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, okay. So like I mean obviously like there's going to be like an academics or like a knowledge one. I know like Persona 5 has like proficiency and like guts and things like that. So like could they do like something different, or do you think that they're going to kind of stick with like general, kind of like what they've done before?
General same, couple of them will have a different name is my thought. Like
Yeah.
Charm and knowledge/academics. Courage, those 3 are like the cores that always have been, are knowledge, charm, and courage. Guts is just a different name for it.
Yes.
Proficiency is an additional thing. Charisma and
Kindness
charm
for like
two-sided
Persona 5.
kindness.
Yeah.
Yep. Just 2 sides of a similar coin that could be under one thing, but we're split to make 5.
Well, if we are
help with more specific situations.
Well, here's what I'm thinking, because we're talking about like this, maybe like this, we're going to the underworld. So there's always like 2 worlds in these Persona games. So like you could have, you could have 6 social stats, but it's like, it's like 2 of them are like kind of like the same, and then these 2 are kind of like the same, and then these 2 are kind of like the same. So like academics and like maybe something else, like the flip of that. Like, I don't know. Or like courage and then like the...
Like academics and street smarts, courage and...
Yes.
Endurance, essentially. Like the ability to continue to take things on.
Right.
General charm and kindness. Those being like the 6...
Right.
Coming together to make you the complete person, the best version of the protagonist.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So with combat, so... like we kind of like touched on it a little bit. I kind of just want to like pick your brain a little more. Like, are we getting baton passing? Is it just going to be shifting? Like, do you like, are they going to do something new outside of like maybe team attacks or anything else? Like, what else do you think they could do? What would you want them to see do with the combat that's new that maybe hasn't been done yet?
I think baton passing, but with like unlockable buffs. Being the thing would be better, where it's not just baseline, you automatically get the damage boost. You have to like... I think there was something for it in 5 for their base like social link or something like that. where once the confidant was unlocked or once the like second stage was unlocked, they got like something related to their baton passes.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything pulled up, so like I'm not like
No, you're good.
lasered in on the exact details.
Yeah.
But like making it so like a social link with your teammates as a core, kind of similar to how you have in Persona 3 with the with C's. Something like that being what unlocks the HP SP recovery. Although that's right. Darts and billiards were what we got for the technicals,
Yes.
and then that's what it was. So
Yeah.
I think as long as it's something like that, preventing like immediate like full maximum potential off for getting a single baton pass, it'll help with the tuning and the quote unquote making it too easy that people complain about all the time.
Sure.
With 5, because even like Merciless on New Game Plus, if you have the weaknesses unlocked, you just have to hit them with one of them, and then you're good basically for the entire fight. It makes
Sure.
it a walk in the park.
Sure.
A fresh run or even New Game Plus hard run, in my opinion, from doing it multiple times, is harder than Merciless.
Yeah, I mean that's what people say because Merciless is kind of like critical mode in Kingdom Hearts, where it's like you do more damage but you take more damage. You know, in hard mode you just take more damage, like like you know things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, what about what about this idea? What about the idea that your party members have like skill trees, and maybe like your social links when you progress them, maybe like, you know, it unlocks a branch of the skill tree, and then maybe like you can kind of choose like how you want them to be built. So like maybe you have a character, maybe you have like a Ken equivalent, let's just say, for example, where like Ken can do a lot of things. Like he can do like he has like a lot of different attacks he can do, but he also is a healer. So like you could have a skill tree branch where it's like maybe I make this character more support, or maybe I do something like this, and maybe the baton pass kind of plays into that as well, you know, like where like maybe when you baton pass you choose like a specific skill or buff for that moment that you give for that character. You see what I'm saying?
Like after a baton pass, you can switch the tree that you're under.
Whoa, that's kind of crazy. Yeah. That would be kind of insane.
So what you said is so metaphor coded that it's unbelievable.
I haven't even played Metaphor, so I don't know. Yeah.
The TLDR is like they awaken to the equivalent of like their base persona, and then obviously you can level up that persona to a certain like maximum for that, and then as you progress their social link, they can unlock the next evolution of that persona, get buffed versions of all their previous skills, so on and so forth, and then they have their maximum potential one that's obviously their best one. The other cool thing with Metaphor is that you can pull in, if they've mastered other personas, essentially, everyone's kind of like a wild card, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where they have their base, but then they can also tap into like other things that you get from, similar to like Arcanas. Once you learn that Arcana and level up that Arcana, you get more of that Arcana buffed.
Yeah.
You straight up unlock another class by being friends with the brawler in the game. You unlock the brawler persona that you can use the skills from, and then transfer those skills to and from. Something like that would be pretty cool too, where like
instead of just having because like obviously like the protagonist is going to be able to switch personas and everything, you know, like that's not changing, but like having something else for the other party members, or like maybe you have like a skill tree and then you can like build them a certain way, but then like you baton pass and it's like, well, I really don't need this character to be a support right now, so let's like
I need them to hit hard.
Yes. I don't know. It's just an idea. It's a thought. Yep. So,
or even like if you get them to like certain ranks, they can transfer certain passives or certain types of moves to their teammates. Where like you have a slot specifically for a transferable skill.
That's cool.
Makoto has nuclear damage, obviously in 5. You want someone else that's not weak to nuke. Could take on a nuke attack. Once you get Makoto to rank 6 or something, she can transfer base Freya or something.
That's cool.
To one of the other teammates.
Yeah.
Team connection too. Like have that be like a team connection like skill that unlocks eventually down the road. Yeah. And then boom, there you go.
Well, because with the combat, there's so much like switching between party members constantly. So like I feel like they could really expand on that in some sort of way. It doesn't have to be exactly what we talked about. I'm just kind of throwing ideas that are coming to my head out there. But yeah, I mean, if they can expand on it, that would be amazing. But if we just get it, if it just plays like a hybrid of all these other games, I'm cool with that too. You know?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to cough there for a second. Well, we've been talking for like an hour and a half, bro. Can you believe it?
Oh man, yeah.
So thank you for coming on. We're not done yet, though. I've got another final segment that I want to do for you, do with you, I should say. But do you have, before we get to our final segment, is there anything else, any final thoughts that you want to address in regards to P4 Revival, Persona 6 stuff, you know?
Yeah, I think doubling back on what I said earlier, be kind to the new voice actors, be kind to the new singer. They're doing what they were asked to do, what they applied for to do, and understand the weight that it carries. For 6, I think we get no later than next Summer Game Fest, we get another trailer. But I think it'll be after Persona 4 Revival's fully out that we get the next thing, so that would be my eyes there. Either there or Xbox is when we get the next news for it here.
Yeah.
But it's also the 30th anniversary. We might see more soon.
Yeah.
Don't forget to get the cool merch from the stores before it's gone if you really want it. Here's the point, the jacket that I'm wearing is one of them.
Dude, I need to get that jacket. I need to get that jacket.
It's reversible, and it's got the art design.
That's what I've seen. That is so sick, man. Yeah, well, we got one final segment here, so go ahead and pull up that thing that I sent you.
All right.
So for those of you who watch the podcast, we always do this with our guests. Dylan has no idea what this is, but it's going to be Persona related. I'm sure he can maybe kind of figure out what we're going to do. But yeah, we're doing another blind ranking today, and it's simple. I'm going to have you blind rank 10 Persona characters that I picked.
Oh man.
So,
all right. All right.
And I try to mix it up a little bit. I haven't played Persona 4, but I have a couple from Persona 4 here, you know, just and I'm going to tell you right now, I did not include any of the protagonists. These are
okay. Cool.
So the first character you're going to be ranking, we're going to start off strong. We brought him up earlier. It's Mr. Junpei Iori from Persona 3. Or start off with a crazy one. Yep.
Oh man. Oh, that's my crit king.
Crit pay.
Especially with Xeno holding him down.
He clutched so for me good. So hard at the end of my playthrough. He was my boy. But yeah, 1 through 10. Where's Junpei going as the first one? And
there's a couple that I could put above him personally from my personal experience with them. I'm going to put Junpei at 3.
Okay, and then you can just type it in. You just type it in there.
Roger that.
Junpei at 3. All right. So while you're doing that, the next character that I have is Haru for Persona 5.
Ooh. So, base and royal Haru, a little bit on the weaker side in terms of actual character and stuff of that nature. If you add strikers to that mix, though, she shoots way higher up there. I'm gonna put Haru at 6.
Okay, Haru at 6.
There's definitely stronger characters for me, but there's definitely significantly weaker ones for me too.
Yeah, so. and I agree with the strikers comment. I can't speak. I agree with that comment as well because I think I really liked
play or watch strikers. People, like the spinoffs are good. Enjoy them for what they are. Watch them if you don't want to play. If the genre doesn't match your like appeal or what you want to get out of an experience, at least watch the cutscenes. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's not your cup of tea to play, the stories are still good.
Yeah, I agree. And I've done that before, too, with certain games. There's no shame in that. Okay, next character we have is, for Persona 4, we have Yosuke. I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know anything about him, but I had to give Persona 4 some love. We talked about him a little bit earlier, too, so that it kind of fits that we're putting him on here. I'm going to put
Yosuke at number 4.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this very heavily. Depending on what they change with his character and Revival in terms of certain things that I have very publicly said that he could be better with. If they change certain things, in ways that make sense or make him better, he could be tied / above Junpei.
Okay. All right.
And
Well,
I mean that with my full heart. I love him. There's just Junpei as a character as a whole with his entire journey. I like him more than Yosuke. And that's, again, it's my opinion.
Okay. All right. So the next character we have is my queen, Yukari. Yukari Takeba.
Oh man, you're hurting me here. I'm gonna have to put some people really low compared to what I would probably do on a standalone.
And by the way, you cannot change this list, but I'll ask you at the end maybe how you want to maybe allocate it.
Who I would? Yeah. All right, Yukari's 2.
Yukari's 2? Okay.
I have a feeling you're gonna have my either top 3 or like my number 1 in here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to make sure I save that spot.
I don't know. I might not, because I don't know who your favorite Persona character is. But we'll see. So
we're learning about me today. All right.
The next character I have is, we had Junpei, but now we're going to pivot to Ryuji for Persona 5.
I adore Ryuji. He, in my opinion, in terms of just like standing out, he's the most... He's with Yosuke as being like the consistently there for the protagonist as the best bro. Like out of the best bros, he's the most consistently the best bro.
Sure.
Out of the characters. But I think as a whole, because of the journeys that they go on, his journey is a little bit weaker compared to the other ones. So I'm gonna put him at 7.
Okay, 7. 7 for the Ryu.
And again, like, I love these casts. I wouldn't love these games if I didn't love these casts.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, the list that I made, in my opinion, there's not a bad character on this list. So,
fair enough.
yeah. Okay, next character, we got another Persona 4 character, and I don't know how to pronounce this. I think it's Reese. Rise? Rise. Yeah, she's the Lover's Arcana for 4, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Tell me about Rise.
When I say this, Rise is a Japanese idol, Japanese teenage idol. There's a lot with Rise to unpack. But she's another one that I'm interested to see what they do with her in Revival in terms of her specific personality. Not necessarily the censorship stuff.
Sure.
I don't think they're gonna. There's some people would think, oh, that's again M-rated game, guys. They're not gonna cover everything up.
Sure.
In terms of like anything visually representative of personality, anything like that. But Rise is not my favorite. And I know that's going to hurt some people's hearts.
That's okay.
So I'm going to take one of my lower spots here safely and put her at my personal 9.
Okay. Yeah, and maybe someone in the chat will try
Still love her to death.
Right.
Still love her to death. As a character in the game, she's goated. In terms of like gameplay wise. Mm-hmm. There's just other people I hold higher in my personal list, and that's it.
Yeah, it's fair. And then maybe, some people in the chat might try to steal your heart later. And maybe change your opinion. We'll see. We'll see.
My palace is bulletproof.
The bulletproof palace is crazy. Okay, we got. Did I count right? We have 4 more left. We have 4 more left. So you have the 1, 5, 8, and 10 slot left. Yeah. Okay, so next character. We're deviating from party members right now. I have Dr. Maruki as the next character on here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so worried that I'm gonna put him in a spot and you're gonna literally put my fave next. That is genuinely my concern here. And this, oh my gosh. I'm gonna say, all right, this is my thought process.
Okay.
Persona 5 Royal spoilers.
Yes.
Please, obviously, mute until I wave again.
Until we wave again. Go ahead.
As an antagonist, he is the perfect embodiment of the right thoughts and the right ideals in mind, but the wrong delivery and execution.
Could not have said it better myself.
The embodiment of that. And I absolutely love that his ideal world is literally just one that no one suffers, because no one deserves to suffer, obviously. And the issue with him versus the Phantom Thieves being that people want to grow from their own experiences, become better on their own terms, get the help that they need when they need it, but not just have their problems wiped away for them.
Mm-hmm.
So as a overall complete character, I love him to death, and he's my personal favorite antagonist from the series. But Doc, I gotta put you at 5.
Okay. At 5, and I agree. I think that's what made Persona 5 Royal, especially the third semester, just like peak fiction for me, in my opinion. Just like that, dilemma, right? It was so good.
Yep. It's so good. It's so well set up and everything like that. He gets you to like open up and like trust him initially, and he's not doing it all because he has devious intentions or anything like that. He genuinely wants to help people not suffer. He doesn't want to see anyone else suffer again. Again, like I've talked about it before with other things, like in my current
Expedition 33.
X33. Mm-hmm. Literally in one part of my life, I would have picked one ending over the other, but now I would have picked the one that I've said that I would pick.
I'm the same way.
His ending.
In the same way, 100%. And I think we are thinking of the same things because I feel the same exact way.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly.
Yes.
Yep. Cool. All right.
Spoilers done. Next. Spoilers done. All right. We got 3 more left. We got the 1, 8, and 10 slot left. The next slot is going to Broom Kid Ken Amata. Where's Ken going on this list?
This physically hurts me. I'm going to do this to myself because I've already done it to myself. Ken is my son. I will protect him against all opposers, but I have to put him at 8 out of these slots.
Okay, that's fair.
That is literally my son, and I would protect him with my own life.
I love Ken.
Real life if I could.
Ken might be top 5 in Persona 3 for me, honestly. Like he's great. I love him.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right, we have number 1 and number 10. So our next character is Makoto Nijima, Persona 5.
I'm so sorry, Nijima fans. I have to trust my gut here, and I have to put her at 10.
Okay, so
because if the chance is that you have put somebody that I think you may have at 1 for my last slot,
okay,
I could not justify putting Makoto at 1.
So here's the thing. I do not think I picked your number 1 favorite character, but the character going in the number 1 slot is absolutely deserving of it because he's the goodest boy. It's Koromaru.
You know what? I can't be mad.
I can't be mad at it.
Because he is the goodest boy.
He's the goodest boy, dude. You know, we're gonna eat your heart out. Teddy, don't even know ya, but eat your heart out because Koromaru is just the best boy. Okay, so who's your number 1? Is it Akechi?
No.
No? Who is it?
It's Igus, and you will understand more once you have finished episode Igus.
Okay. Yeah, I actually almost put her on here. I thought about it. Yep. So
if she was there, she would have been an insta-lock at number 1 for me.
Yeah.
I actually plan on doing a video at some point specifically about how much I relate to her in several instances and situations of the whole gaining human emotions, of the finding a purpose and a reason to live, things in that situation. There have been points in my life, and when I played this game for the first time, it spoke to me at a level that I did not know I needed at the time.
Yeah.
But I am so grateful that I did. So that's just the very short version of my base level of why she's my number 1.
Sure.
Sophie from Persona 5 Strikers would also have been a very close contender for number 1.
Oh, you know what I forgot?
Potentially risked.
I forgot. I should have put Senkichi on here, bro.
Oh,
that's
man,
my boy. That's my goat, dude. I love him.
Case in point, a good adult character being able to wield a persona.
Yes.
And facing the ugliest parts of himself to become the protector he deserves. He wish he was the entire time.
Yeah, dude, Zenkichi's the GOAT, man. I can't believe I forgot about. I just forgot about Striker stuff. Okay, so we've got our list. So how would you change this list specifically?
All right.
And then just put like in parentheses. Actually, no, I'm gonna take a screenshot, so you can just change it however you want. But you don't have to type anything if you don't want to. But if you want to, you can.
Yeah, I think I would switch Ken to 5 and bump the other 3 down. And I think Makoto Nijima I would also bump up to like. Let me think here.
All good characters, in my opinion.
Out of this entire cast, I would probably move Yukari, Junpei, and Yosuke up. Horomaru, I would specifically put lower on the list. He's the goodest boy, but he's also a dog.
He's also a character development. Right. He's a dog.
So I would actually switch him probably to 10.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
This is just an order of 10 people.
Yeah.
But I would bump everybody else up. Basically, Horomaru got down to 10. Everyone else gets bumped up 1, and then Ken gets switched in for number 5, keeping Maruki at 6.
Okay. Cool. And then that's the list.
Yeah. I think that works for me.
That sounds good to me.
That's about as close as I could get.
That sounds good to me, man. I love it. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the pod, Dylan. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, this is fun. It was fun to just talk Persona. So, yeah, and it was bound to happen. You know, I've had this podcast in my head even before Persona 6 was announced. So it's great that we actually got to do it. DMPeyer, Dylan My Empire. Where can we find you? What are you up to? You know, what's going on with you, man? And like I say in all the other podcasts, I will have all of his links and everything in the description below. So please go follow, subscribe, all that good jazz.
You got me on Twitch, on Twitter /X. You got me on Instagram. You got me on TikTok. All DMPeyer. Easiest way to find me. I do have a YouTube, but that is more so for like VOD storage and stuff for the campaign that I run for the tabletop RPG based on the Persona franchise. That will be making a return soon, TM. Several things that are being worked on for that to make that as good as possible, because I got it started and realized there was so many things that I could do better and wanted to hold for a better standard for that to make the experience better for everybody, audience, players, and myself. So that has been a little bit of a hiatus, but that will be back very soon, as well as just regular streams here pretty soon. Now that I'm not going to be out of town for weeks at a time.
Sure.
Like continuously straight. So I got like one more trip in October, and then the rest of this year is going to be just content and work. So.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, man. This was a blast. I'm excited not only for Persona 4 Revival, but to see what more we're going to see on Persona 6 and what that's going to look like going forward. That's going to be it for today's episode of What's Brewing. My name is Andy Broom. That's DMPeyer, and we'll see you guys later.
Later.